Welcome to our deep dive into Kinslayers, Fall of the Arcane Storm.
Oh, this should be fun.
From what I've been able to gather, Kinslayers seems to offer a unique blend of strategic miniature combat and RPG-style character development.
Yes.
It sounds like we're going to be exploring a world where tactical battles meet personalized warbands set against a backdrop of shattered realms and arcane energies. So whether you're a seasoned wargamer looking for a new challenge or a curious newcomer eager to explore the world of tabletop skirmishes, I think this deep dive has something for you.
I think so, too. It seems like this game has some mechanics that really set it apart from other wargames.
Absolutely. One of the things that really stood out to me was the emphasis on warband customization.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just choosing predetermined armies, you're actually building your own force from the ground up.
Right. You have 10,000 points to assemble your warband, and you can pick from a variety of races, like high elves, dark elves, desert elves, sea elves, dwarves, orcs, halflings, goblins, humans, and even the undead.
It's like a fantasy buffet of options.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the strategic possibilities there.
Oh, they're endless.
You could create a nimble warband of halflings, specialized in hit-and-run tactics, or a heavily armored dwarven force that holds the line against any assault.
Absolutely, and the customization goes beyond just choosing your race. You get to pick the units that make up your warband, name each member, and even use your own miniatures. This level of personalization, it really sets Kinslayers apart.
Yeah.
It's not just about moving pieces on a board. It's about creating a force that reflects your strategic vision and your storytelling preferences.
It sounds like they've really integrated role-playing elements into the wargaming experience.
For sure.
But how does this customization actually play out on the battlefield?
Well, the game uses a system of unit types, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. You have your standard infantry, rangers who excel at ranged combat, lancers who can break through enemy lines, swift cavalry, and of course mages who wield powerful spells.
Now, I can't forget about the bards.
Oh, yes, the bards.
They sound like a really fascinating addition to the warband.
Bards are a unique twist. They can be any unit type, but they possess the ability to use spell singing, which is a form of magic that grants tactical advantages through songs and melodies.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a bard inspiring their allies with a song of courage or weakening enemies with a haunting melody.
It sounds like there's a real emphasis on strategic depth, combining unit types, abilities, and spells for a tactical advantage. But what about the world that these warbands inhabit? Tell me more about this realm of Anduin.
Anduin is a world rich in lore and shaped by a cataclysmic event known as the Great Sundering. This event unleashed arcane storms that ravaged the land, reshaped continents, and fractured the very fabric of reality.
Wow.
The impact of this event is woven into every aspect of the game.
It's like the backstory for all the conflict and tension that drives the game. Do the different races have their own unique responses to this great sundering?
Absolutely. The High Elves, for example, once ruled the skies with their magnificent sky cities.
Right.
But the Arcane Storms brought many of those cities crashing down, and now they find themselves adapting to life on the ground.
Wow.
Facing new challenges and enemies.
Talk about a fall from grace.
Yeah.
Their world has literally been turned upside down. What about the other factions? How have they been affected by the Great Sundering?
Well, the Dark Elves, dwelling in the subterranean realm of Oakendark, are contending with the spreading influence of spectral horrors. The veil between worlds has thinned, threatening their once secluded haven. Meanwhile, the Desert Elves face shifting sands that swallow their cities whole, and the Sea Elves grapple with the mysterious disappearance of ships in their waters.
It sounds like every faction has its own struggles and motivations, adding a layer of depth to the game beyond simple conquest. This isn't just about winning battles. It's about navigating a world in turmoil and carving out a place for your warband amidst the chaos.
That's what it's all about.
And that's where the game's terrain system comes into play.
Yeah.
It's not just a static backdrop for your battles.
Right.
The terrain plays a dynamic role, influencing unit movement and abilities in some really interesting ways.
It does.
So it's not just about moving your miniatures from point A to point B.
Nope.
There's more to consider?
Much more.
What else is there?
Well, there are two types of terrain effects, minor and major.
Yeah.
Minor terrain effects provide bonuses to specific races in their favored environments.
Oh, interesting.
Halflings, for instance, gain advantages in grasslands, while dwarves are extra sturdy in mountainous regions.
It's like the concept of home field advantage in traditional sports.
Yeah.
But what about these major terrain effects? How do they impact the game?
Major terrain effects are determined randomly at the start of each game.
Oh, okay.
And they can dramatically change the flow of battle. They can be positive, like enhanced foraging that might grant extra health.
Interesting.
Or uncover valuable items. Or they could be negative, like a volcanic eruption that damages units caught in its path.
That's an element of unpredictability that keeps players on their toes.
Oh, for sure.
You have to adapt your strategies on the fly, taking advantage of favorable conditions, and mitigating the risks posed by hazardous terrain. It sounds like a dynamic system that keeps each battle fresh and exciting.
Absolutely. Now let's delve into the heart of the action, the gameplay.
Okay.
Kinslayers utilizes a dice roll-off system where both attackers and defenders roll dice to determine the outcome of combat.
So it's a combination of luck and strategy.
Yeah.
Where you try to tilt the odds in your favor by making smart tactical decisions.
Exactly. And there's a lot more to consider than just rolling dice.
Like what?
Well, units have various abilities, effects, and items that can grant them advantages or disadvantages in combat. For example, a unit might have the haste ability, giving them an extra action per turn to outmaneuver opponents. Or a mage might cast Dispel Magic to counter an enemy enchantment.
I can see how that would add layers of complexity to battles.
Yeah.
You're not just throwing dice, you're making calculated decisions about unit placement, movement, and the use of special abilities to achieve your objectives. What about the leaders? What role did they play in all of this?
Leaders are the central figures of your warband, shaping their destiny and guiding them to victory.
So they're not just another unit on the battlefield.
Right.
They have a more significant impact on the overall strategy.
Absolutely. They're powerful figures who possess unique abilities and even access to powerful spells.
Okay.
They're crucial to the success of your warband, but also have a unique rule that makes choosing a leader all the more interesting.
Oh, do tell. What makes choosing a leader so intriguing?
Unlike other units, your leader doesn't count toward your warband's point total during army creation. This allows you to truly customize your leader and provide them with the most potent gear and abilities.
Wow.
Without having to sacrifice other units.
That's a fascinating dynamic.
Yeah.
It allows for some real strategic flexibility.
For sure.
And makes the leader selection process a lot more engaging.
It does. And the game encourages you to think of your leaders as more than just stat blocks.
Okay.
You can flesh out their backstories, motivations, and even their flaws.
I like that.
This adds a layer of narrative depth to your games and can even influence your decisions on the battlefield.
So it's a blend of strategic thinking and role-playing.
Exactly.
You're not just commanding an army, you're guiding a band of characters with their own stories and personalities.
Right.
What a great way to make each battle feel more personal and engaging.
It is. And let's not forget the impact those leaders have on the flow of battle.
All right. How does a battle typically play out in Kinslayers?
Each battle consists of rounds where players take turns activating their units, performing actions like moving, attacking, casting spells, or using special abilities. Initiative is decided at the start of each round with a simple dice roll.
Okay.
With the player rolling higher, deciding who takes the first turn.
So there's an element of luck involved,
Yeah.
but also the opportunity to be strategic about when you act.
You can go first to seize a key position or disrupt your opponent's plans. Or you might choose to go second, allowing your opponent to expose their strategy before you unleash your own counterattack.
Oh, I see. That's clever.
And each round, players also get 2 advantage dice,
Okay.
which add another layer of tactical depth to the game.
How so?
Well, these dice can be used to press your advantage by re-rolling a single die. It could be to try and improve an attack roll.
Right.
Or maybe avoid a devastating terrain effect.
Oh, interesting.
However, unused advantage dice are forfeit at the end of each round.
Okay.
So choosing the right moment to use them for maximum impact is crucial.
It seems like Kinslayers strikes a balance between strategic planning and adaptability.
It does.
You can go in with a game plan,
Yeah.
but you also need to be prepared to adjust your tactics on the fly, reacting to your opponent's moves, the random terrain effects, and those moments where luck isn't on your side.
Right.
It sounds like a recipe for some truly memorable battles.
It is.
I can't wait to see how all these elements come together in practice.
It's going to be epic.
I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a very exciting journey into the world of Kinslayers.
I think so too.
So buckle up, deep divers. We've got a lot more ground to cover.
Oh, we do.
And I, for one, am eager to see where this deep dive takes us.
Me too.
It's fascinating how Kinslayers blends those strategic elements with that touch of unpredictability.
Yeah.
But it's not just warband composition and terrain.
Right.
The individual units themselves seem to have a lot of depth.
Oh, they do.
The game goes beyond simply having units attack and defend.
Right.
Each unit type has a unique set of abilities and effects that can significantly impact the flow of battle.
For sure.
The blind effect, for instance, sounds like it could really shake things up on the battlefield.
For sure. Imagine a seasoned warrior suddenly disoriented and swinging wildly at their opponents.
Yeah, that's a great visual.
A blinded unit suffers penalties to attack and defense, making them vulnerable to attacks they might otherwise easily avoid.
So it's not just about brute force.
Yep.
It's about using these effects strategically to disrupt your opponent's plans.
Yeah.
And create openings for your own units.
Exactly.
What other effects are there?
There's a wide variety.
Right.
Burning inflicts ongoing damage.
Oh, nasty.
Charm can temporarily turn an enemy unit against their allies.
Wow.
Frozen can immobilize a target. And fear can make them flee in terror.
It sounds like psychological warfare is a key component of Kinslayers.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about physical combat. It's about exploiting your opponent's weaknesses and using every tool at your disposal to gain an advantage.
Right.
It must lead to some truly dynamic and unpredictable battles.
Absolutely. The effects system adds this intricate layer of strategy to combat.
Yeah.
You're not just attacking and defending, you're thinking several steps ahead.
Right.
Anticipating your opponent's moves and countering their tactics with well-timed effects.
It's like a chess match with swords and sorcery.
Exactly.
And speaking of unique abilities,
yes,
the source material mentions that rangers are quite versatile.
They are indeed.
In what way?
Well, they're adept at both ranged and melee combat.
Oh, cool.
They can climb walls, providing tactical advantages in navigating the terrain, and they're equally skilled with daggers or axes when engaged in close quarters.
That versatility makes them valuable assets on the battlefield.
Oh, for sure.
You could have a ranger perched atop a ruined tower, raining arrows down on the enemy, or flanking them from an unexpected angle to disrupt their formations.
Exactly, and each unit type has its own distinct abilities.
Okay, like what?
Well, cavalry units have charge abilities to break through enemy lines, creating chaos and disarray. Mages can teleport across the battlefield.
Oh, that's cool.
Appearing where they're needed most to unleash devastating spells or support their allies with timely heals.
Oh, and of course, the bards can turn the tide of battle with their spill songs.
Right.
Inspiring their allies or hindering their foes through the power of music.
Spell singing adds a unique dimension to the combat.
Yeah.
Bards can boost their allies' morale or hinder their enemies' movements.
Oh, okay.
Adding a layer of strategic depth that goes beyond traditional spellcasting.
It's a reminder that in Kinslayers, victory isn't just about brute force.
Right.
It's about utilizing every tool at your disposal.
Yeah.
Combining unit abilities, terrain advantages, and well-timed effects to outmaneuver your opponent.
Absolutely.
Speaking of maneuvering, let's dive into the movement mechanics.
Okay.
How does that work in Kinslayers?
Movement in Kinslayers is far more nuanced than simply moving units from one point to another.
Okay.
Terrain features, unit abilities, and even in-play effects influence how your units move.
Right.
And the tactical choices you make.
So there's a strategic element to consider when moving your units.
Oh.
It's not just about speed.
Yep.
It's about positioning, awareness of the terrain, and utilizing your unit's abilities to their fullest potential.
Exactly.
For example.
Well, units with the fly effect
can
soar over obstacles, reaching advantageous positions. However, this maneuverability also exposes them to ranged attacks from units on the ground.
Right. And units like the halflings, known for their agility, probably excel at navigating dense forests or urban environments.
They do.
Outmaneuvering slower, less nimble opponents.
Precisely. Halflings thrive in environments where their small stature and agility are advantageous.
What about the water walking effect?
Oh, that's a good one.
How does that change the dynamics of movement?
Water walking allows units to move across bodies of water as if they were solid ground.
Interesting.
This opens up flanking maneuvers, allowing you to outmaneuver your opponent or escape dangerous situations.
It sounds like even something as seemingly simple as movement becomes a tactical puzzle in Kinslayers.
It does.
It's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about utilizing your unit's unique abilities.
Yeah.
Anticipating your opponent's moves and adapting to the ever-changing landscape of the battlefield.
And there are even more specialized movement options.
Like what?
Like swoop attack.
Okay.
Where flying units dive down from above.
Wow.
And hit and run, where a unit can attack and then retreat to safety.
Oh, that's useful.
Perfect for harassing tactics.
It's all about calculated risks.
Yeah.
And choosing the right movement option for the situation at hand.
And there's an interesting mechanic related to movement
that
adds a touch of realism and suspense.
Oh, what's that?
Falling damage.
Oh, right.
Units knocked off high terrain or pushed back by powerful attacks can suffer damage from the fall.
So positioning your units on elevated terrain isn't always a guaranteed advantage.
Right.
You have to consider the potential consequences of being pushed back or knocked off those heights.
Absolutely. And the anticipation when a unit is pushed back and teetering on the edge of a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Did they manage to hold on? Did their armor absorb the impact? It's a dramatic element that adds tension and excitement to battles.
It's those little details that make Kinslayers feel so immersive.
I agree.
You're not just playing a game, you're experiencing the chaos and unpredictability of a battlefield.
Right.
Where every decision has consequences.
Exactly. Speaking of consequences,
yes,
let's shift our focus to scenarios.
Okay.
The source material mentions a variety of scenarios that provide context for battles.
So what kind of scenarios are we talking about?
Well, the scenarios are where all the elements of Kinslayers come together. They provide the objectives, the narrative framework, and the strategic challenges that drive your warbands to victory.
And there seems to be a good range of scenarios, catering to different play styles and preferences. If you want a straightforward battle for supremacy, you can go for Hold the Hill, right?
Yes. In Hold the Hill, 2 warbands fight for control of a central elevated position.
Okay.
It's a test of strength and tactical maneuvering.
And for players who prefer a more objective-based scenario,
right,
Capture the Flag is always a classic.
Capture the Flag requires coordination and cunning.
Yes.
As you try to outmaneuver your opponent and seize their flag while protecting your own.
What other scenarios are there?
The source material hints at some truly epic scenarios.
Okay, like what?
Like Secrets of the Arcane and Middenidle's Last Stand.
Those sound intense.
In Secrets of the Arcane, you're tasked with escorting a high elf dignitary.
Okay.
Carrying vital knowledge through a treacherous forest.
Oh, wow.
And in Middenidle's Last Stand, you defend the dark elf capital of Oakendark from waves of stormstalkers.
These scenarios not only provide unique challenges, but they also draw you deeper into the lore of Anduin. They do. Immersing you in the ongoing conflicts and giving you a sense of the stakes involved.
Right.
And often these scenarios introduce special rules or objectives that shake up the gameplay, keeping things fresh and engaging.
Absolutely.
It's not just about winning.
Nope.
It's about achieving your objectives. Adapting to unexpected challenges.
Right.
And maybe even making difficult choices that reflect your warband's values.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of shaking things up,
yes,
Kinslayers also features independent units.
It does.
That are not controlled by either player, correct?
That's right. These independent units, like wild creatures, rival contenders, or the formidable stormstalkers, operate according to their own set of rules, adding an unpredictable element to battles.
So you might be focused on your primary objective when suddenly a pack of wolves descends upon your flank. Or a rogue band of goblins disrupts your carefully laid plans.
Exactly.
It forces you to adapt your strategies on the fly. Prioritizing threats and making tough decisions in the heat of the moment.
For sure.
What about the Stormstalkers?
Oh, the Stormstalkers.
The source material suggests that encountering these creatures is a particularly harrowing experience.
They are a force to be reckoned with.
Tell me more about them.
The Stormstalkers are formidable foes born from the heart of the Arcane Storms.
Oh, wow.
They are unpredictable, incredibly powerful, and can wreak havoc on even the most seasoned warbands.
They sound like a real test of skill and strategy.
They are.
What kind of terrifying creatures might players encounter when facing the Stormstalkers?
Well, the source material describes shadowhounds with braining eyes and a breath of despair.
Oh, that's creepy.
Wind wraiths whose touch is colder than death itself.
Wow.
And even more legendary beings.
Okay,
like the Lady of Shadows and the Stormlord.
Oh, wow.
Shrouded in mystery and dread.
So it's not just about battling other players.
Right.
You might find yourself facing these independent forces. Adding a cooperative element to the game where players must work together to overcome a common threat.
Exactly. These encounters can be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
Testing your strategic thinking, your ability to cooperate, and your courage in the face of overwhelming odds.
It's those moments of shared adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Those epic battles against seemingly impossible foes.
Right.
That forge lasting memories and create legendary stories.
For sure. And Kinslayers seems to provide ample opportunities for those stories to unfold.
Speaking of stories, the game also seems to encourage players to go beyond just the battles.
It does.
And really dive into the world building and narrative aspects of Kinslayers.
Absolutely.
It encourages you to go beyond the rulebook.
Yeah.
To create your own scenarios,
right.
to develop your warband's backstories, and to personalize their journey through this world shattered by the Arcane Storms.
And there's even a system for crafting unique items and artifacts.
Oh, now you've piqued my curiosity.
Joe?
Tell me more about these customization options.
Well, there are templates for tracking your warband's progress and achievements.
Okay.
You can create a fellowship roster listing each member of your warband, their stats, abilities, and even their personality quirks.
It's like a character sheet for your entire warband.
Exactly.
Helping you track their growth and development.
And there's a fellowship journey template to track your warband's overall goals and achievements.
So what kind of goals might a warband have?
Perhaps they seek a lost artifact, an alliance with another faction, or the secrets of the arcane font.
This adds a layer of narrative purpose to your campaigns.
It does.
Giving you long-term goals to strive for.
Right. So it's not just about winning battles. It's about embarking on a journey with your warband, shaping their destiny, and leaving your mark on the world of Anduin.
And the customization goes even deeper.
It does.
Kinslayers has a system for crafting unique items and artifacts.
Yes.
That can give your warband an edge in battle.
That's right.
So it's not just about the pre-designed weapons and armor.
Nope.
You can create your own magical relics, imbue them with special properties, and make them a part of your warband's legend.
Precisely. The source material details a vast array of potions.
Oh,
salves, scrolls, wands, totems, treasures, and even musical instruments with unique effects.
Imagine brewing a potion that grants temporary invulnerability.
Yeah.
Crafting a wand that shoots bolts of ice.
Right.
Or discovering a magical harp that inspires your allies with a song of courage.
And these items can be seamlessly integrated into your scenarios or campaigns, enriching the narrative and providing your warband with unique advantages.
I can see this leading to some truly epic moments.
Oh, for sure.
Discovering a legendary sword in a hidden chamber of a ruined temple, or crafting a magical talisman that grants your leader the power to control the elements. It adds a layer of wonder and excitement to the game.
And the best part is you can create your own items and artifacts, devising unique names, descriptions, and effects. It's a fantastic way to personalize the game and weave your own creative vision into the world of Anduin.
It's this level of customization and creative freedom that sets Kinslayers apart.
Yeah.
You're not just playing a game.
Right.
You're creating an experience, shaping a world, and telling stories that are uniquely your own.
Absolutely. But before we get lost in the endless possibilities of item crafting, there's one more intriguing aspect I'd like to explore.
What's that?
The shards of the past.
Oh yeah, the shards of the past. What are those?
The shards of the past are an optional rule that adds depth and personalization to your warband leaders.
Okay.
Connecting them to the history of Anduin and the battles they've fought.
So what exactly are these shards?
Well,
are they physical objects?
They are.
Magical artifacts?
They're physical representations of a leader's lineage, power, and past victories.
Oh, interesting.
They can be anything from a carved relic to a crystalline fragment, or even a trophy taken from a defeated enemy.
So they're like tangible reminders of their past experiences.
Yeah.
Their triumphs.
Yeah.
And the challenges they've overcome.
Exactly. Each shard carries a story. A memory of a past conflict, and a piece of the leader's legacy.
But how do these shards actually affect gameplay?
Well,
do they grant special abilities or bonuses?
They don't directly influence a leader's stats or abilities.
Okay.
But they add a layer of narrative depth and personal stakes to battles.
So it's more about the story.
Yeah.
About the weight of history and the legacy that each leader carries with them.
Precisely. When two leaders clash in battle, the victor can claim a shard from the defeated, adding it to their collection.
Oh, interesting.
It's a symbol of their triumph and a reminder of the warriors they've bested.
I can see how that would add an emotional element to battles. Yeah. You're not just fighting for victory, you're fighting for your legacy, for the right to carry those shards and the stories they represent. Right. It encourages players to develop their leaders' backstories.
It does.
To think about the battles they fought and the challenges they've overcome.
And the source material includes a shard template for creating your own shards, complete with details about the battle where they were acquired.
Oh, cool.
The defeated opponent, and a description of the shard itself.
So it could be a jagged piece of crystal, a blood-stained banner, a rune-etched weapon fragment, or even a vial of dust collected from a battlefield.
The possibilities are endless. And it's a fantastic way to personalize your leaders.
Yeah.
Connect them to the lore of Anduin.
Right.
And create a tangible representation of their journey through this world shattered by the Arcane Storms. But even with all this depth and customization, a game is only as good as its community.
That's true.
What's the Kinslayers community like?
Well, from what I've seen, the Kinslayers community is a vibrant and passionate group of players who share a love for the game and the world it brings to life.
That's great.
They are welcoming to newcomers.
Awesome.
And veterans alike, always eager to share their knowledge, discuss strategies, and even collaborate on new scenarios and campaigns.
It's wonderful to hear that the community embraces that spirit of collaboration and shared enthusiasm. It sounds like a great environment for both new and experienced players to connect and share their love for the game.
And it's not just about competition.
Right.
There's a strong cooperative element to the Kinslayers community.
Yeah.
Players are constantly pushing the boundaries of the game.
Okay.
Creating custom content, sharing painting techniques, and contributing to the ever-expanding world of Anduin.
The online forums must be buzzing with activity.
Oh, they are.
Discussions about warband tactics, painting tutorials, and maybe even some friendly rivalries.
You'd be surprised at the level of detail and passion that goes into those discussions.
I bet.
Players share photos of their meticulously painted miniatures.
I love that.
Debate the finer points of the rules. And even write elaborate backstories for their warbands. It's like a collective storytelling project.
Oh, that's cool.
With everyone contributing to the rich tapestry of Anduin.
And it's fantastic that the game's creators actively engaged with the community.
Oh, that's great.
Listening to feedback, answering questions, and incorporating player suggestions into future updates and expansions.
It shows a real dedication to fostering a thriving community.
It does.
And ensuring that the game continues to evolve and grow.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that Kinslayers is more than just a game.
Right.
It's a shared experience, a community-driven world where everyone has the opportunity to contribute, to create, and to leave their mark on the legend of Anduin.
You know, we've explored the lore, the mechanics, we've even touched on the philosophical implications of this world.
We have.
But what really captivates me about Kinslayers is the sheer artistry of building a warband.
Oh, yeah.
It's like sculpting a team from a raw chunk of possibility.
It is. It's where strategy meets creative expression.
Yeah.
You're not just picking units. You're imbuing them with a shared identity, a purpose that drives them beyond the battlefield.
The rulebook provides a framework, but it feels more like an invitation to make it your own.
Definitely.
Choosing a faction isn't just about their strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
It's about connecting with their aesthetic, their place in Anduin's history.
Do you envision leading the honorable high elves, seeking to reclaim their lost grandeur? Or perhaps the cunning dark elves, weaving shadows and poisons to achieve their goals?
And within each faction, there's so much room for personalization.
Oh, tons.
Are your high elves a disciplined band of archers? Or do they wield the raw power of the arcane font? Do your dark elves rely on stealth and assassination? Or do they command terrifying beasts from the depths?
It's fascinating to think about all the thematic possibilities.
Yeah.
A warband of goblin alchemists, for instance, could be hilarious and chaotic.
Oh, yeah.
Wreaking havoc with volatile concoctions.
I can picture them now, like a ramshackle crew with mismatched gear and a penchant for explosions.
Exactly.
It's that level of personal touch that makes each warband feel unique, a reflection of the player's imagination.
It really is. And I can imagine the excitement when two players bring their warbands to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Each force is a statement, a testament to their creative vision and strategic thinking.
That moment before the first move is made, when the terrain is set and the dice are ready, it's electric.
Oh, yeah.
You've poured so much of yourself into these miniatures.
You have.
And now they're about to clash in a world you've helped to create.
It's amazing.
And as the battle unfolds,
yeah,
you see those choices come to life. The dwarven defenders holding the line with grim determination.
Yeah.
The halfling rogues darting through the shadows to outmaneuver their foes.
Those are great.
And those moments of individual brilliance.
Oh, yeah.
Where a single unit's action changes everything.
Totally.
The High Elf Ranger's arrow finding its mark. The Sea Elf Mage's timely healing spell turning the tide.
It's great.
Kinslayers captures the essence of tabletop gaming.
It does.
Those shared moments of tension, excitement, and camaraderie.
It's a reminder that beyond the rules and mechanics, it's the players who breathe life into the game.
Right.
Who create those unforgettable stories.
As we conclude this deep dive, I encourage you to think about what kind of story you want to tell in Anduin.
That's a good point.
What kind of warband reflects your vision, your strategic style, your creative spark. Dive into the lore, explore the factions, experiment with unit combinations.
Let your imagination run wild.
And remember, the world of Anduin is constantly evolving.
It is.
Shaped by the actions of its players. The community is a wellspring of creativity and inspiration. Connect with fellow players.
Definitely.
Share your ideas and contribute to this ever-expanding tapestry.
Thank you for joining us on this epic exploration of Kinslayers, Fall of the Arcane Storm.
It's been a blast.
We've only scratched the surface, but hopefully we've sparked your curiosity and inspired you to discover your own path in Anduin.
And until next time, deep divers.
Yeah.
Keep exploring.
Keep creating.
And may your dice rolls always favor the bold.